been so long. It's been such a long time since we've held each other in each other's arms. How are you guys doing? You good? How about those kids, those people, those artists? Seriously, I would have soiled my shorts so many times standing in front of all of you on BroadwayCon. So now we're moving in, we're going to get really intimate. We're going to get less broad and more intimate and get to know some of your favorite Broadway stars and personalities come up here in our BroadwayCon Avenue Q&A. And it seems awfully fitting to welcome our first participant. He's the man that helped us all be here this weekend. I am fangirling out on a very deep level about this, so please welcome Anthony Rapp.
Thank you.
Hello, Anthony Rapp.
We brave storms to continue with BroadwayCon.
The cold never bothered us anyway.
Right?
Yeah, clearly not. How do you feel it's going?
Huh?
How do you feel that it's going so far?
I think it's going pretty damn well, especially considering there are many people who can't get transportation.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not being, I don't mean to be facetious. I just want to publicly say thank you to all of you for your spirit, because this is what we all hoped this would be.
These people are unshakable. These are unshakable rock stars. They don't care if there's no Ubers or dog sleds left in Manhattan. They're staying put. So you're kind of watching a dream come true right before your eyes in a really literal way.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been to other events that Mischief Management have put on, and it always has this kind of spirit. But what I'm really especially thrilled is that, so when I was telling my friends in the community, meaning the theatrical community, about like, we're putting this together, I promise you it's going to be something really special. And Jen Colella, very good friend of mine, very open-hearted person. Today I was asking her, like, when I was talking to you, did you even know? And she's like, I didn't know. She didn't know. Like, because it's sort of like trying to describe something you've only sort of weirdly kind of imagined. Until you're in it, you can't really know what it's like to feel this kind of connection with this incredible group of people who've traveled. I've met people from New Zealand, Australia, Northern Ireland, Hong Kong, mainland China, Japan, Canada.
I like the way you said Japan and New Zealand. Someone's like, Texas! Don't forget we came from Texas on Southwest Airlines!
New Jersey. But,
Long Island.
When it's, until Jen Colella was in this building over the last couple days experiencing it, it's only conceptual, it's only abstract. So I'm just really proud and happy that she and so many other people who've been coming on board in this inaugural year, when it's really like they're kind of going, okay, I trust you, but it could have been stupid. And it wasn't stupid. I mean, it's not, I knew it wasn't going to be stupid, but I'm just really happy and proud that they're having a wonderful experience. And trust me, they are. They're not just being like happy in front of you.
Oh no, you should all hear the talk backstage. Everyone is absolutely thrilled and are so moved by your enthusiasm for the thing that we all love, the thing, that common bond that we all have, which is our love of theater. Yes. So it's very real on both sides of the big main stage.
Yes.
And truly this has exceeded your expectations for the first time out, right? Do you think? It's got to have.
Well, it's sort of, because I expected really great, but but the fact that it's at least, I mean, it's been what I was hoping, so that's more than satisfying. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
So when I was at the Hamilton panel yesterday, there was a tone of the conversation and an appreciation, and then that impromptu sing-along that is so the spirit of all of this, that I was just so happy that it's not. Yes, those guys who are in the Hamilton, that thing, it's a juggernaut, they're super famous right now, all that thing, but it wasn't about that. It was about the work itself, it was about the appreciation for them as human beings, as artists. You know what I mean? So that just makes me really happy.
And breaking down kind of the wall between, like, we sit here and you sit there.
Exactly.
Making it an actual conversation and a dialogue rather than a grandstanding of any sort, right?
And this all started because when I met Melissa and Ellie outside the Niederlander Theater in 1996, stage dooring was not a verb. I mean it.
Do you know who else was at the stage door in 1996?
You? Did we talk ever?
Huh? I probably fainted. Oh. I probably met you and I was like, hey. But I slept outside on the street.
That's you guys probably were crossing paths.
Yeah.
Wasn't.
Hi again.
So, but part of the reason I wanted to share this part of it is that then, and it's not that stage door is a problem, I'm not suggesting that it's a problem, I'm just saying that it was a different era. So in that era, Rent was as big a juggernaut as Hamilton is, in terms of you couldn't get a ticket, it was on the cover of every magazine and all that stuff. But even then, we would come out of the theater and there would be maybe 5 to 10 people outside waiting to talk to us. So we could actually have conversations, we could actually engage. And again, it's not like I'm complaining about the way stage doors are now, because it's incredible also to see 100 or 200 people out there. I mean, it's amazing. But it doesn't allow for the same level of engagement. So one of the things that I've always wanted and longed for is the opportunity to have these kinds of opportunities to engage. Because we're all human beings, we're all doing this because we love it, I promise you. So I'm thrilled that that's been as much a part of this as everything else.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you feel it, the energy's palpable in that. Do you have, going back to the Rent days and kind of the beginning, the phenomenon of stage door mania, do you have a favorite stage door story? Do you have a specific moment or something wild that a fan maybe...
Well, I mean, it started to shift in the middle of the run, but even my last show in New York, January 4th of 1998, so I ran almost exactly 2 years. I was the last of the principals to leave. I don't think everybody that was outside on 41st Street had seen the show that night. But it literally, there was no street, there was no sidewalk, there was just people. And it was extraordinary. I mean, it was amazing experience to feel that sort of support from people who love that show. So that was pretty crazy. But early on, somewhere, people started bringing, I don't even know why, Captain Crunch, because it was referred to in the show. But one time it was like a peanut butter jar. I mean, I don't know. So it's starting to sign all sorts of interesting things. That was a new phenomenon. And then at some point, it started, this was a little bit later too, maybe even years later when I was back in the show, but people started having me sign, a couple times would sign their arm and then they got a tattoo.
I was just going to ask, did anybody ever get your face on their body?
Not face. Well, I don't think. I don't know. But I've certainly.
Because I certainly don't have that.
Interesting. I think Lynn was talking about that yesterday in the panel. He's had people. He's written on their bodies I have terrible handwriting. I tell them too. I've had a couple people. I've written things on paper and taken a picture and then they tattooed it. I'm I have terrible handwriting, but they're I don't care, so that's nice. I think I appreciate it. I do. I don't think it's crazy. I think it's nice. I don't know. It's nice.
No, it's a beautiful recognition of your work. Can I just ask quickly though, because now we all get into fan fiction. Anybody write their own fan fiction shows? Did they do that? Was that happening yet?
Yeah.
Did you get any sort of and then Mark and I went to Walmart.
Yeah.
And we went to the produce aisle
There was
together.
one time, I don't even remember, somebody pointed me out to some website and I read just the first paragraph and it was about, it wasn't Roger and Mark, it was Anthony and Adam.
Oh.
Slash.
Oh, I know the slash, yeah.
And Adam at the time was married to his still wife, Sibel, and even acknowledged in the paragraph was how he was feeling guilty about Sibel. I had to not read any more of that.
Wait, fake fan fiction Adam was having guilty feelings in the...
Yes, because he and fake fan fiction myself were having relations.
A smoochy affair.
And so he was feeling guilty about Sibel. That crossed lines in my brain that he's my friend, he's like my brother from another mother, I can't, no, so I don't, yeah.
What a wonderfully kinky way to end this portion of the Avenue Q&A. Kinky. Well, thank you for all that you do and for all of this. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Cool. Thank you. There's more coming.
Tell you what, if you had told me when I was 18 years old, sitting outside the Nederlander on a slice of cardboard, that I'd be talking to that man right now, I would have squealed like a pig.
You're talking about me.
I am.
Nice.
Yeah, and I may still. Everyone say hi to Andrew Briedis, who's had a super wild and wacky last month or two.
Crazy month.
Yeah, for real.
So for those who don't know,
Yeah, let's tell them.
I run a satirical internet personality online that satirizes and makes cultural commentary on specifically Broadway actors and unemployed actors in the industry. It's called Annoying Actor Friend.
Familiar? You must be. It's thousands upon millions of followers.
And I started it about 3 years ago, pretty much fully as a joke. Everything I do is sort of like as a joke. So I was doing this account just satirizing social media behavior of actors, because now we sort of know, like, social media's been around for so long that we figured it out, but like in 2012, actors were the first to really like hone in on like buzzwords and sort of like trends and sort of how they spoke. So actors, and just so you know, I was an actor. I left the business about 6 years ago to become a writer, so this is kind of like one of those projects. So I have a lot of friends who are still actors, and these actors were posting like, oh, I'm so blessed, and the secret really does work, and all these things like 3 years ago, like, or just ambiguous brags, or when they booked a job or 2 jobs at the same time, be like, when it rains, it pours. And for all of us watching that, it's like, oh, that's really douchey. And so I was like,
off I go to Ellen Stardust Diner again. Congratulations on your rain pour.
So I kind of started just being like, I just got to make something about this. So I went on Twitter, created an Annoying Actor Friend. I Googled annoying actors for a handle, and at the time it was just season 1 of Smash, so Ellis came up. And it was not the actor Ellis, but just the character came up. And I was like, oh, I want you to get the feeling you kind of got about Ellis when you read my tweets. So that's sort of how it started, but it kind of like led into sort of like activism after a period of time where I was able to I built a following base, and then sort of like, if you're familiar when Joan Rivers passed,
Yeah.
and they said not, the league decided not to dim the lights, and I was like, well, that's bullshit. Because she was very prominent in the community, specifically in the industry. She always, she had a Tony Award, she had written a play, all these things. So I started a hashtag called Dim for Joan, and I got my followers to go on it, and they reversed it. So
That's amazing.
thanks.
It's incredible that social media has that kind of power, that kind of, you see it in action.
Yeah, and it's been amazing, specifically also because I think what I do is, it is a very industry-based. I kind of became the voice sort of like actors who were trying to, like, specifically things that came up with like the union, with Actors Equity and touring contracts, and most recently I wrote a piece on the workshop lab process, and thank you. And it's an excerpt from my book, Buy It. It's called #Grateful, Everything Happens for a Reason. Yes, buy it. It's on Amazon. So in this, I talk about the workshop process. So I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Talk?
Yeah, so there's I don't know if you're all familiar with, there's a developmental process that goes into making a Broadway musical, and it began with a chorus line. Michael Bennett and Joe Papp created the workshop, and it was so actors sort of had a percentage in the gross when it went to Broadway. It's kind of like
The investment of their time is returned in some way, yeah.
So all of this stuff, like everything that the actors put into the piece that becomes part of it, they get kind of like some sort of producing credit on it. And that's been kind of the standard since then, up until about recently. I'd say after Book of Mormon, it kind of ended because they came up with this other thing called a lab. So a lab is basically a workshop without any of the good stuff. So it's kind of like, you're still working, you're still getting a salary, it's a little bit more than the workshop salary was, but then once that lab ends and it goes into the next stage of development, you don't have a first right of refusal. If they want to replace you, you don't get a buyout. And then if any lines you created, anything you did, to make that piece, you don't get that percent. So you're just, once the lab ends, you're just at the whim of whatever they want to do next. So I written this piece kind of explaining that process, and that sort of went viral, which is kind of in the community, and Kelly O'Hara, Anthony Rapp was involved in it, as far as tweeting and getting it out there, because I think it's something that a lot of big Broadway fans love Broadway but don't necessarily know a lot about.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very behind the scenes.
What was you were in the Wicked workshop, or was that not a workshop?
No, I was not in the workshop, I was just in the play.
Yeah, so there's a lot of all shows start out differently in different ways. So that's essentially the kind of the serious stuff I do as Actor Friend.
Which is amazing. You've taken something that it's so funny, and you're so witty and intelligent, and that shines through, and the books and all that. So what brought you to the point where you decided you were going to take off the proverbial mask and reveal yourself as Annoying Actor Friend?
I think it's sort of all about, specifically with social media, it's kind of like seeing what's next and seeing how things are changing, and also just kind of knowing when it's time to move to the next step, specifically of a career or whatever you're doing in life, and going, okay, this was great. This was really, really fun as it was, and I don't know that I'm writing this other projects I want to write. Annoying Actor Friend takes up a tremendous amount of time. When I was writing this last book, I was writing it 4 to 5 hours a day for 4 months, and I just kind of wanted to write as me, and not make this what I am, you know. So it was just kind of one of those timing things.
Cool, and it's laid a great foundation for you now. The response has been so fantastic since you came out of the closet in that sense.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I have an EGOT now. Actually, that's how. I think
that's how big it is. They're like, and here you go. Well, continued success. Please follow Andrew Briedis, everybody. Get on social media. Not a smarter man in the bunch. Yeah. Oh look. Oh. Gentlemen dancing together.
How's it going?
It's going great. I think I'm just gonna leave you.
Great.
Okay, bye, Andrew Keenan-Bolger.
See ya. Hi, guys. So I've got like 5 minutes here before I have to go do a Disney sing-along something situation. But if anyone has any questions, right here. Oh, jeez. Find me afterwards at like 7.
Yeah, there'll be time for that. There's a time for that.
Yeah.
What is it?
So what would you have done if BroadwayCon didn't thing when you were
Lost my freaking mind. No, truly, I think that this is so amazing, not only just for a way to connect to the Broadway actors who you're big fans of, but I think it's all about the community and meeting people who have similar interests and similar passions. Stuff like that when you're younger, that gives you so much hope for what the rest of your life could look like. And the fact of the matter is that you guys all have so much passion, and being able to share that with other people with similar interests, that's everything.
And to network with people from so far away that you then create, because we live in a world with social media where you can actually meet the girl from Belfast and create a dialogue and have a friendship with her, and that strengthens the community, which we're also proud of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I left before, but I guess I wasn't supposed to. So I'm back now. Surprise!
You got it!
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm terrific. I'm really happy to be here. We can keep taking questions from the audience for sure. I'll be here to help you. Yes, you. There, waving the thing. With the newsy hat.
Oh!
Oh, fascinating.
I would be Speck, so I could turn on that paper and then also be Ryan Steele. Because my life would be better, right?
You guys, if we all close our eyes and wish real hard, I think we can all become Ryan Steele.
Oh my God.
I'll be back in 5 minutes. It's not working. I too would be Specs.
Anyone else? Yes, right here. I was so pissed. But honestly, in a real way, I heard that they were putting in a crutchy song, and I was like, seriously? And then I went and saw the show and was even more pissed because it's such a beautiful moment and such a beautiful...
Do you know the song?
Yeah, I know the song.
Do you want to sing 16 bars of it?
A little 16 bars? Oh God, okay, this is gonna live forever on Snapchat, isn't this? Oh no, nothing lives forever, yeah, sure.
YouTube. You saved.
Dear Jack, greetings from the refuge. How are you? I'm okay. Guess I wasn't much help yesterday. Snyder soaked me real good with my crutch. Oh yeah, Jack, this is crutchy, by the way. The end. I don't really remember what's next. The biggest stage I've gotten to perform that on. So.
That was only at BroadwayCon. That was a BroadwayCon exclusive. Do you want to talk about what you've got coming up?
Absolutely.
The next big exciting Broadway project that's happening.
Yeah, Tuck Everlasting.
Going to be everlasting.
Yeah, it's a beautiful musical. I don't know if anyone has read the children's book. But
Yes. That's a required reading.
It's really great. It's been something I've worked on for almost 6 years. I did the first reading of Tuck Everlasting the week after I did the first reading of Newsies. So those two projects have been like had their hooks in me, and getting to finally get to do it on Broadway is going to be so exciting. I'm also the author of Jack and Louisa. I don't know if any of you guys have that, but yes, amazing. But the first book came out last year, and the next book comes out February 16th. It's all about musical theater nerds like me and like you guys, so I think you will like it.
When do you sleep?
When do I sleep? All the time. And I watch Netflix, like, for days.
Okay, well, let's get to it. What's your favorite Netflix program?
Oh, man.
Are you watching Making a Murderer?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Okay.
My all-time favorite one, it's this TV show from BBC called Broadchurch. Anyone seen it? You guys, that is a good show. It's kind of in the vein of Making a Murderer, but, like, scripted.
See, I told you it was going to be intimate. Okay, I guess that's the time we have.
I gotta go. Oh my God,
Wow,
you guys are so
this
great.
is lightning fast. Wow, what fun! Okay, well, talk about fun. Ladies and gentlemen, the queen of the BroadwayCon, Lesli Margherita.
You guys, I just shoved some like ribs in my ribs, so.
There are ribs back
No,
there?
little sing for you. Yeah, there's like short ribs back there.
They do?
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
Do you,
Hi guys.
you're doing it now? Are you?
Let's talk for a second. Why
Okay,
don't we
okay,
talk
great.
for a
I didn't
moment
know
and
the
then
ribs
we'll
were
tell a
calling.
story.
How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm super terrific. This is really fun, right?
It's a
Don't
blast,
you feel like
and
this
I'm
is
so
kind
sorry
of,
if you're sick of my face.
I know, I feel like we are kind of amidst like the hardiest of the hard. We're like the Spartan warriors
Right?
of the Broadway universe. Yeah, that nothing's gonna bring us down, and we're
No.
just gonna push through, and we're just gonna be in your face.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about your experience at Dames at Sea.
Oh, it was a blast, and I was telling people at the last panel, shows, even if they're amazing, and did anybody get to see Dames at Sea?
Good
It
people.
was like so amazing and so funny, and you just never know. Like our previews, everybody who saw it loved it, but unfortunately it's a business, and if tourists aren't coming and you can't make the nut is what they call like the budget that they have to make every week, then other shows may want your theater or whatever, but sometimes it doesn't matter how good a show is, just won't last. But we were happy that we got to do it at all,
Absolutely.
because a 6-person show
Yeah.
on the Broadway, a tap dance 6-person show, like, was amazing.
I was talking to a young lady earlier today, just kind of about why some shows last and some shows don't. We were talking specifically about the sideshow revival, which was such a luxurious, gorgeous,
So beautiful.
yes, work Daisy, work Violet.
So
It's a beautiful
beautiful.
piece of, and sometimes there's just really not a logical rhyme or reason.
There really isn't.
You know?
I mean, I thought, James and Steve, we were in a tiny theater, and we were like, people are losing their minds over this, it's so funny, we'll at least, go for a while, and then it just doesn't happen, but.
Well, you're so spectacularly fun and funny and larger than life, and I get to travel around the country and MC talent competitions, dance competitions. Yeah, so I'll write a book at some point about that. But every once in a while, in the musical theater category, we get a little young lady who comes out with a great big curly blonde
Oh my
wig
God, I
and
love
some
it.
pink fishnet tights. And I will sort of watch the child perform, but just listening to your vocal performance on the Matilda soundtrack of Loud is one of the most exciting things that I've put my ears to.
Oh, thanks.
So when you're feeling blue, just put on Loud from the Matilda soundtrack and get lost in the subtlety and nuance that is Lesli Margherita.
Yeah, I'm very subtle.
Yeah, hashtag subtle and nuanced.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna tell you guys a story.
Great.
Are we done with this interview portion?
Are there still ribs in the wings?
Are there what?
Are there still ribs in the
There's
wings?
ribs.
Then we are.
Fine. Okay. Okay, I don't know why I just moved chairs, but I did. Because I felt like this chair was more important. This kind of thing, they were like telling me stories. So I've told this story a few times to random people, but I felt that it was important for you to know. Before I would call myself a queen, I was a princess. I was a Disney princess. I worked at Disneyland. And what, obviously, like, I'm obsessed with, and I have nothing on now because I left at 9 in the morning, but I'm like obsessed with sparkles and like bright things, which is why I'm in all gray. But normally I'm obsessed with sparkles. So when I worked at Disneyland, and I was obsessed with Disney. When I worked there, I wanted to be Belle with like the beautiful ball gown. I wanted to be Snow White with the pristine makeup. Who was I? Esmeralda, the gypsy slut of Notre Dame. I'm telling you, there was not one sequin on that freaking costume. It was just like dirt and rags and whatever. So what I was Esmeralda, and I was doing a show at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, and they had a bunch of characters in the show. What I wanted to be was Ariel the Little Mermaid. For real, because that fish had the most sparkles on her fin, and I wanted that, not the dirty rags. Like even like the Pocahontas had sequins on it, but whatever. One night, I swear, I kid you not, it was like a midnight show at the El Capitan. You did like 5-6 shows a day, and there was a midnight show, because of course it's Disney, you do a midnight show. The Ariel, no joke, got violently ill from eating some bad fish and started barfing, and they needed somebody to sing Part of Your World, because a lot of these characters sing live. So who could do it? Who could do it? Me! I wiped off the brown, like politically incorrect makeup that Disney had given me, and I got into that sparkle fin. Now, I need you to realize there was a reason why Disney had never let me play Ariel. There were 2 big reasons. Because, you know, at 19 I was like, I can totally be an amazing Ariel. So, but they had no choice. They needed a live singer. So I found out why Disney wouldn't let me play Ariel, and the best thing was there was a dresser running around backstage screaming, going, I don't know what we're gonna do, I don't know what we're gonna do, we only have seashells, not D-shells. It didn't matter to 19-year-old Leslie, because I was getting in those shells, and on me they looked like pasties. Anyway, strapped into the shell pasties. If you know those like purple, like barely hanging on for life. Strapped into that, I sang. Okay, we're gonna do this again. This is my shell and this is my thing, so. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here you think, sure, she's got everything. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's its and what's its galore. You want thingamabobs? I got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. Everything was going swimmingly until a bunch of drunk college boys joined in my song. I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing, walking along on those, what's that word again? True story. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing, struggle along down the, what's that word again? Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be naked. Part of that world. True story. Thank you, BroadwayCon.
subtlety and nuance. She said tits. She didn't, they did. Let's welcome out our very good friend, the lovely Sarah Jenkins, Briedis. Hi, lovely. How are ya?
I'm great. How are you?
Are you enjoying your BroadwayCon experience?
I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's
Grand.
It is grand, isn't it? Were you part of the big opening number the other day?
I was not.
You were not.
I was not.
Was that spectacular or what though?
I would assume so. I wasn't.
You weren't here? Then let's stop this line of questioning
But I heard it was
immediately.
great.
Yeah, it really was. All right, so we want to bring Sarah out here to talk a little bit about, we hear very often about shows going for an out-of-town tryout before they come to Broadway, right? They go away, they look at the show, it's kind of a great big expensive workshop in Boston, San Francisco, Houston, what have you. Sarah's resume is long, extensive, gorgeous, and fabulous, and has done a lot of these out-of-town tryouts. Yeah, tell us some of the shows that you've done.
Yes,
right.
that I've actually done.
Yes,
I was
please.
the dance captain for Legally Blonde. Yes, and I did great. I did Peter Pan with Kathy Rigby. Lots of stuff, a lot of tours. Yeah, and my out-of-town stuff. I've spent literally the last 3 years of my life doing brand new shows, which is so exciting.
Yeah.
And then they don't come in. It's okay. It's not sad. It's funny. We laugh about it. It's fine.
Well, no, I think the point of bringing this up,
Yeah.
my friends, is that you're an incredibly successul gal in this business, and I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in that crazy word that's right there by the con, you know, that we don't necessarily think about the greater, bigger picture of the theatrical community beyond that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kooky.
And tell me a little bit about the experience of crafting a show out of town.
Yeah, it's really amazing. The first one I did was The Nutty Professor, which was Marvin Hamlish's last musical he ever wrote.
Oh wow.
He actually passed away the week our show opened, out of town in Nashville. So it was. This is turning into be such a down.
Speak on it. Speak on it. Tell your
It
story.
was great.
Bro.
It was Marvin Hamlish's last musical, and Jerry Lewis, who
That's
wrote
right.
and starred in the movie, directed
Yeah.
our show at 86.
Holy mackerel! What
so
was it
that-
like working with him?
Incredible. It was everything
Yeah.
you would think. I mean, you get so terrified, and I mean, you walk in the room for that final audition, and you're like, okay, it's like final callback, it's gonna be fine, and then you walk in the room, and it's Jerry Lewis, and Marvin Hamlish, and Rupert Holmes, and then you're like, just frozen. Like, what do I do with my life?
Cue fainting.
Yeah, it was incredible, and they're all wonderful, lovely people. Jerry Lewis is exactly what you would think. I tell the story all the time, like, because, you know, they prepped us before that final audition, and they said, you know, make sure you're really brushed up on Jerry Lewis's career, because he likes to surprise people and ask, well, did you see this movie, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I'm already terrified going in, and everybody's like, okay, I did my homework, I know everything about it, and it's funny, those of us that ended up in the show, we think, oh God, I have to do something in there that's more than just this song from the show and singing and dancing and whatnot. So pretty much everybody that ended up in the show kind of has a story like this. And I walked in, I did it all, I sang the songs, you know, read all the stuff, did all the dancing, and then they were like, that was so great, thank you so much. And I thought, God, I have to do something. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess nothing happened. And I started to walk out of the room. I get my hands to the door, and Jerry Lewis goes, oh, Sarah, I'm Jerry, by the way. And I said, who? And I fell on the floor and was like, what did I do? I got a job.
Because what could Jerry Lewis love any
And I
more
heard
than
him
that?
close the door, and you hear like,
That's having
And I was
Jerry
like,
Lewis
I
and
did
Jerry
it.
Lewis.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a beautiful, wonderful experience. We're actually doing a reunion concert at Birdland on February 15th. It's the first time people in New York will ever hear Marvin's last score.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was great.
Well, keep on trucking on.
Great.
I'm getting this from the wind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, it happens. It doesn't come in. I did Can last year. It was like, yeah, it's happening. It may still, who knows. I did, here's something, a little positive note. If you are with a show out of town and they replace you, your life is not over. It's happened. It happened. Honeymoon in Vegas. I did it out of town at Paper Mill. And then they were like, you're short. You're 5'2". We're gonna replace you with a girl who's 5'10". And I was like, I can't do anything about that.
And I think that's something that we all need to, is the casting process and those decisions. There are so many arbitrary things at play there. And I think as artists and as actors, it's easy for us to go, but was it me? And it's so very seldom is, isn't it?
And they're like, do you want to grow a foot and a half? I'm like, I can't do that. Okay, bye.
Not as much as I'd love to.
You know, but it happens all the time, and keep trekking along. But there's a lot of great stuff that we never get to see, and that's kind of kooky.
Yeah, it is. Give it up for Sarah Jenkins,
Thanks,
everybody. Thanks for coming to chat with us, pretty. Ooh. Rob McClure, everyone. Yeah! He loves Betsy.
I promise this is the last you'll see of me this weekend. Oh, that was...
That's exactly what they were supposed to say.
Well done.
Yeah.
Concerned.
No, it's totally stable.
It's okay.
It's totally in here. So what I wanted to talk to you about, like we've kind of been saying, all of us throughout the weekend so far, is that we are these people are us. That you don't get to be on a Broadway stage without first being a Broadway fan. It doesn't exist, it doesn't happen. And we all have our certain amount of geekdom inside of us when it comes to musical theater, right?
Yes.
I was saying the other day that I used to stand on the diving board at my local pool and sing Javert's Suicide before jumping in. I also, in 8th grade, decided to run for publicity chairman of my student body council in my junior high school in Orem, Utah. And in lieu of a campaign speech, I decided to dress myself as the Phantom of the Opera and walk to the microphone during the da 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 da, at which point I was simply going to say, vote Ben Cameron for publicity, cue music, you will curse the day you did not do. I didn't win.
But speaking of Javert's Suicide, I have a cosplay request for next year. I want someone to go as drowned zombie Javert.
That man in the red jacket back there has accepted your challenge.
Game on. See you next year.
Frankly speaking, you could do a whole like dead characters from Les Mis Zombie Apocalypse.
Zombie Gavroche.
And your group could be called Beyond the Barricade. What do you geek out over? What's the musical theater geekdom inside of you?
So I have a very specific moment that I knew this is what I was going to do with my life. I had just done Anything Goes in school. It's here for Cole Porter. He's here tonight. No.
Zombie Apocalypse. Zombie Cole Porter.
Oh my God. So someone came up to me in my school, and I didn't know I was good at it. I just knew it was something I enjoyed doing. And someone came up to me in my school and said, there's a little community theater in Oradell, New Jersey called the Bergen County Players on Kinderkamak. Yeah. And they're doing a play about a guy who kills people and puts them in meat pies and people eat them. And my 15-year-old brain was like, that sounds like the coolest thing I've ever heard. So I showed up to the auditions at 15, and I said to the woman next to me, I don't know the show. What should I sing? What should I audition for? She said, probably Toby. So I went up, and this is the beginning of my audition, ready? Hi, I'm Rob McClure, and I'm auditioning for Toby. There, out in the darkness, fugitive from me. Not kidding, I sang Stars from Les Mis. Well, but I didn't get the part. But then I knew 2 months later that this crazy show was happening, so I went to see it. And for those of you who don't know Sweeney Todd, get on it. But it has a huge M. Night Shyamalan ending. And the moment you learn the spoiler, I cried for an hour and a half. And I ran across the street to a payphone, ask your parents. And I called my mom, and I said, it's about a barber and his wife, and I was a mess. And I remembered thinking, tomorrow there's going to be 100 people there who don't know that's coming. I have to be there when they find out. And I went every Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the entire run. I saw every performance of Sweeney Todd at the Bergen County Players. They gave me a cast jacket for a show I wasn't in. But you guys know what it is. It's the feeling of when you know something so well. How many of you have seen shows more than once? Isn't it the feeling
when you're not even watching the show anymore, you're watching the audience watch the show. Because you know something that they don't know is coming, and you can't wait for them to find out. That was my life. So, with that said,
I feel a number coming on.
if I may, this is just to show you what a nerd I am. Okay? This is completely unrehearsed. This is just simply from my brain. I've never done Sweeney Todd.
And what may I do for you, sir? A stylish trimming of the hair, a soothing skin massage. You see, sir, a man infatuate with love, her ardent and eager slave. So fetch the pomade and palm stone, and lend me a more seductive tone, a sprinkling, perhaps, of French cologne. But first, sir, I think a shave. The closest I ever gave. Bum 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 bum. You're in a many mood today, Barbara. 'Tis your delights are catching fire from one man to the next. 'Tis true, her love can still inspire the blood to pound the hardly pyre. What more can man require than love, sir? More than love, sir. What, sir? Women. Ah, yes, women. Pretty women. Bum 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 bum. Now then, my friend, now to your purpose. Patience, enjoy it. Revenge can't be taken in. Make haste, and if we wed, you'll be commended, sir, my lord. Wait, and who may it be said is your intended, sir, my ward? And pretty as a rosebud, pretty as her mother. What? What did you say? Nothing, sir, nothing. May we proceed? Pretty woman, fascinating, stay within you, glancing, stay forever, breathing lightly, pretty women, sitting in the window, standing on the stair, something in them shears the air. Pretty women, silhouetted, stay forever, glancing, stay within you, breathing lightly. Pretty women, blowing out their candles, or combing out their hair when they leave. Even when they leave you and vanish, they somehow can still remain there. There with you are pretty women in their gardens, letter writing, weather watching, flower picking, how they may a man sing proof of heaven as you're living. Pretty women, sir, pretty women, here's to pretty women, oh, the pretty women. Joanna marries me Monday, everything said we'd like to. You! There is indeed a higher power to warn me thus in time. Joanna elope with you, deceiving slut! Or lock her in some obscure retreat where neither you nor any other vile, corrupting youth shall ever lay eyes on her again. And as for you, Barbara, it is all too clear the company you keep. Service them well and hold their custom, for you shall have none of mine!
To the geeks of us all, masterfully done, sir. All right, BroadwayCon friends, coming up next, we're going to have a panel discussing the creation of that spectacular opening number that we saw yesterday afternoon. We're going to have the folks responsible for writing it, putting the whole, David Alpert. We got to give a hand for David Alpert. So hang tight, we're going to be back with that panel, making of the BroadwayCon opening number in just a few minutes, and then we'll be moving on into more of our blizzard-loving, snowed-in BroadwayCon fun. So we'll see you in a minute, guys.